Okay, gentlemen, let's discuss. Every man wonders about this, but few truly comprehend the actions of women when they're experiencing that kind of emotion right now. The truth is that women don't always express what's in their thoughts, particularly when it comes to want, but their behavior and vitality. They say a lot. Consider those moments when you feel the atmosphere change. However, you're unsure if it's genuine. Most men tend to ignore these signs, but now women, we're removing that misunderstanding. Display their allure in a nuanced and not always subtle methods, tone of their body language, and even their behavior. Here, around you, we expose the 10 actions a woman takes after turning on, yet maintains a low profile, since these revelations could potentially alter. How do you spot those sly, tiny clues? Forever after, her voice becomes a gentle, sultry melody. Imagine this. You're engaging in dialogue with her, and her voice abruptly alters, becoming more delicate, slower, and softer, almost like a whisper for you only. She's not purposefully doing this, but there's something alluring about the way the words sound kind today, yet very welcoming, luring you in nearer, as like she's establishing a personal bubble between you two. Yet this isn't where things get interesting. Simply by chance or her being courteous, it's natural for women to feel her body responds to arousal or attraction in modest yet effective methods. One of those responses to the change in her voice. Her tone softens a little and adopts it has a more romantic and airy character, as if her subconscious is communicating want without her being aware of it at this point. If you observe, this is the most important lesson, because when she speaks, her tone shifts to you and you alone, as her voice stays at its typical pitch when she speaks. That's a clear indication to others that she doesn't. Everyone should do this. It's something. Unique and organic reaction to her desires, sentiments, and voice, in that moment, turns into a lovely, calm melody. Music that conveys the relationship romance is simmering between you two, and even if it's minor, her voice has changed. You are more aware of her feelings than her words. The next time, they could pay heed. If this occurs, you might hear her. Lust, before she's prepared to express it, simply said, "Keep it between you two." But ultimately, her voice simply turned into a song that's exclusively for you two. The delicate technique of caressing herself while observing you all well, gentlemen. This is a moment as private as it receives a picture of her staring at you. Her lips are moving in a gentle smile, and while her fingertips just graze her as she does this. Collarbone, neck, or perhaps she twirls her hair absently, and this is pure chemistry, and it's not a coincidence. Work the O, they're not useless. Her body is expressing a language of one that whispers in seduction, vulnerability, and the collar's legend. Among the most sensual are bone and hair, as well as a woman's feminine traits and trust. When she highlights these issues for me regions, her touch is not an accident. The subconscious is slow and sensitive, the dance of attraction. She runs her fingertips over her throat. She traces the air as though she's toying it, her collarbones line nearly beckoning you to follow her, or she plays hypnotically with her hair. Intentional motions, such as spinning it, perhaps putting it behind her ear, using just enough grace to get your heart racing. Accelerate each movement because it has a purpose, even if she doesn't realize it. Here's a pro move for you to employ, girl. Her behavior as an opportunity to connect with her the next time you see her, running her hand over her necklace or casually running fingers along her neck. Give her praise and say something along those lines. What does a lovely necklace mean? Pay serious attention to something special to you. Pay attention to whether she grins in response, blushes and looks at the floor or the necklace once more while responding, "Oh yeah." She is undoubtedly attracted to you, and it goes beyond friendship. We refer to this as a biological, An attraction signal is one of her communication methods, her want without uttering a word. It's raw, sensual, and incredibly actual. 3. She develops nuanced methods to break the barrier of touch when a lady is attracted to you. She frequently looks for tiny, deliberate chances to create physical contact. Ladies, here's a secret. Don't touch males unless you're attracted to them, to see whether she's making reasons to start. Those minor details are anything but unintentionally. She brushes, her fingers pressed against yours as she grabbed. She touches your arm lightly with her drink. Even though the joke wasn't funny, while laughing, something amusing, or perhaps she puts her hand down on your shoulder to make her argument more clear. When speaking, each of these actions has more significance in her actions. This is experimenting with physical intimacy, is how she establishes a link, measuring your response, and establishing the framework for a closer bond. The great thing is that she's at ease being near you. Requesting that you return this quiet but strong indication is how she expresses, "I want to get further closer with you since I trust you." Here's something important to comprehend. If she initiates the physical contact, she's already providing you the contact information. Okay, to step it up a level, she thinks you're attractive, and this is how she of demonstrating her readiness to strengthen that connection. You now have the question. Will you take note of these small details, and will you react in such a manner that enhances your chemistry with each other? 2. Never undervalue the strength of body language. Frequently speaks louder than words. Don't pass up the chance to identify these signs and help her feel as much as you want her to make you feel. 4. She is always modifying her clothing. Have you observed her all the time, adjusting her clothing while perhaps she's smoothing her out around you, outfit pulling at or adjusting her top when there's no compelling reason to? This isn't about comfort or style, so it's something far more profound. Trust me, it's subconscious speaking. These minor changes reveal a lot, such as narrowing her neckline, fiddling with her sleeves, or maybe a strap may appear tiny, yet they're definitely indicating that they're nervous enthusiasm, and most of the time a reaction to attraction. It's how she making herself appear somewhat better for you, making sure that there is a detail, because in that she wants your attention on her right now. It's quite romantic, without even being aware of it. Her body is reacting to her emotions. She's not merely attempting to, she's expressing her curiosity and looks good. And that you would pay heed to that swiftly pulling her skirt or modifying jewelry is a reflection, not a random item. Of her anxious expectation in your presence, pay heed the next time. Those motions, and consider their energy, which is a combination of boldness and timidity, are subtle ways of stating that I want you to see. These tiny behavior speaks loudly, and now that you are aware that you will be unable to miss them. 5. She's giggling uncontrollably at your having fun, gentlemen. Here's a little secret. When a lady is more interested in you, your sense of humor on a more personal way becomes enchantedly seductive. Indeed, your dad's jokes that are the worst are the ones that seem better in your mind, then abruptly turn into hilarious gold. Take note of how, when you make a joke, she responds if she can't stop giggling, even when the joke or punchline is mediocre. Fails. The humor isn't the main point. Fundamentally, it's about making connections and having fun. These kinds of situations are more than just laughter is a spark, and her method of displaying warmth, intensity, and excitement, admiration for the moment you're explaining. Her laughter indicates that she feels at ease with you, and it encourages there is an unsaid chemistry between you. Means of expressing that I appreciate how you make me feel, and at this point in time, attraction degree of ferocity that laughter can even indicate the boiling of arousal. Below the surface, you will find her laughing over comments that aren't even intended to be humorous, or to mimic your reaction, just shared the funniest tale ever. It's because she perceives you as being swiftly turning into the source of her happiness, and the delight and excitement she experiences in your presence simply needs to figure out how to get out, and laughter is the most organic and attractive method of showcasing its attractiveness of this relationship. The more you cultivate, the more playful energy you put into it. She will embrace those emotions, and believe me, a woman who laughs unrestrainedly and regularly in your presence, her degree of comfort. Therefore, the level of attraction is really high. If you're noticing this signal, don't you? Disregard that. It's the type of chemistry that produces enduring romantic tension. Now that she's prepared, it's your turn to take her. The language of desire is expressed by the eyes when it comes to attraction. Occasionally her eyes speak louder than words. Women do not hold for long periods of time, and maintaining prolonged eye contact with anyone. It's one of those unconsciously signs that show she's interested in you in a manner that transcends informal or courteous interest that is purposefully intense. She expresses her desires in great detail. Have you observed how she looks at you? Stays a moment too long before she turns her head away. And it's not by accident when she senses a spark of familiarity, with her gaze deepens and her pupils dilate. Nearly magnetic, which is even more revealing if she looks at your lips as you're speaking. She might be imagining already. This isn't how a kiss would feel. It's science, not just romantic imagination. Studies reveal that prolonged eye contact can release love hormones like oxytocin, hormone that intensifies emotions of link and heightens the allure. This is when things become intriguing. If she is maintaining eye contact and providing you with those extended periods of eye contact electricity, she's beckoning you in silence. In order to return the energy, consider this as your cue. Makes eye contact with her for a brief a bit longer, and include a slight confident smirk. With this understated gesture, increases the strain and pulls her in. Keep an eye out for her response. If she gives a slight smile or bites her lip, nervously turns away before turning back to, you have her a few moments later. The most romantic form of attention, her body language may be doing everything. The conversation, and now you've roused her interest and established a relationship that remains in the space between you, and this moment's beauty is found in its unsaid intensity, which makes it among the most alluring indications of the attraction 70s. She uses every justification to be near you. Ever felt as though she's encroaching on your trust in personal space a bit too frequently? It's no coincidence that she sees you. The invisible companion is more than just that. Personal space boundaries are nearly, she will lean in when you're not there. Speaking, even if not in a whisper, she appears to be attracted to, want to experience your presence more. Pay close attention to how she might approach. While standing or seated adjacent to, perhaps it seems subtle at first. First, a quick glance to her shoulder or the manner she puts her arm down just a bit. Too near if you stand back, and she continues to close that gap. An obvious indication that she's not merely standing, she's showing there for convenience. Even if you're not aware of how much she appreciates being close to you, her behavior speaks for her. This type of delicate intimacy is a visible show of trust, and women's attraction has a way of pursuing men who pique their interest. Deeper level of attention. When she's at ease crossing the invisible boundary of private space, it frequently indicates that she desires more the next time you're with her. Take note of how if you locate her, she will position herself, leaning in so close that the sound melts away, and it feels like as though you two are the only ones there. Take that moment as a sign that being close is not by chance. It's her style of communicating to you her level of desire, your physical and emotional presence. It's your green light, so don't disregard it. 8. Music. Music. This is the romantic science that underlies it. When her oxygen requirement is aroused, grows, and her body reacts automatically by modifying her breathing, making each breath a little more intense, more obvious. Pay attention to the instances where she laughs and then gently exhales, or even while there is a break in the talking about slow release, isn't arbitrary. It's her unconscious method of "it's sensual" to release pent-up tension. Personal and one of nature's small whispers that the energy is what draws her in. The magic between you occurs when you understand how to react without uttering you can mimic her breathing and rhythm, a little more slowly and deeply calm yet purposeful manner in which you. Breath conveys an implicit message of connection and self-assurance. Reduce your a little voice. It naturally attracts nearer to you, and this is the splendor of anything when she begins to sink her. It's not by chance that she has a rhythm like yours. Her body is expressing the balance she experiences. With you, this understated yet potent exchange is a silent instance of intimacy without the use of words, since your energy conveys a lot of information. Passionate electricity. And when you realize, you'll comprehend the extent of the relationship you're creating with Breath by Breathe, and you'll find her fully. I am enthralled in your presence, my love. When you know you're on, friends, an additional chemical level where she cannot resist the irresistible pull. She can't stop coming toward you. 9 guys. Something's playing with her lips. Unquestionably fascinating about how lips combine to form a quiet. You might have seen her in the chat, licking or biting her lips more frequently than typical when she first appears near you. At first sight, it could appear that she's only moisturizing, or is it merely a habit? But there's a lot more to it, I promise. Afterward, her body is speaking when she bites her, it uses its own language. Gently brushes her tongue along her lips, slant of her lower lip, or light licks her lips as she looks at you, sending out strong but subtle signals. Usually, this activity is unconscious, prompted by her feelings for you here is the science underlying it at the present. When a lady feels aroused or interested, her lips' sensitivity makes her. The body is aware of this by instinct, and as a cause of those little lip motions begin taking place. It's not only about touch, it's about wanting something. The idea of getting closer to you when kissing you or revealing that close bond endures within her thoughts. Even if she doesn't express her words become a part of the narrative. She's communicating with her body language. Out for the prolonged look she gives you prior to gently biting her lips, or the way her tongue moves gently while you're in the middle of dialogue when you witness her acting in this way. It's how she communicates the emotions that it's too romantic for words. Intimate, and it's really hot. These small unsaid acts that demonstrate you know exactly how much she wants to pay you. Pay attention to what her lips may be saying. A tale that only you should hear 10 times flushes and becomes agitated when you give her a compliment. There's something unquestionably charming and informative about how a woman responds to a sincere praise her. If she flushes or becomes noticeably agitated when you speak pleasant about her, it's a significant indication of. This isn't about excitement and attraction. She does something for everyone, and it's her body revealing her feelings earlier. Her blushing can even be recalled by her mind. An uncontrollable reaction brought on by elevated feelings, such as enthusiasm, or aroused upon experiencing butterflies. Her cheeks can't because of what you said. Get a little pink, but it's not. Pay is only about the blush, though. Observe how she fidgets and laughs, or perhaps momentarily becomes agitated when you say something charming to her praise, such as "you have the greatest lovely smile," or "I adore how you." When you laugh, your eyes light up. Melt her entirely at that instant. If she quietly turns away, choose her lip, or gives that uncontrollably radiant smile of yours. That's how her body is yelling, how she doesn't need to say how much she likes you. Say only one word about this tiny physical, though it may appear minor, the reaction is strong feelings that words cannot express. Convey that it's a very romantic and a private time between the two of you, so don't assume that when enjoy this kind gesture when you see it. It's an obvious indication of how much she's feeling for you right then and there. Is excitement rather than merely attractiveness. Chemistry and vulnerability combined creating an unforgettable moment.